Our flag means death. That's right, folks. Taika Waititi, the man who can't stop, won't stop, refuses to take a break and chill out for a minute, has created another show. I think he's produced this one. He's producing everything lately. What We Do in the Shadows, Reservation Dogs, the Thor movies. And now he's doing something with pirates. He made vampires cool. He made reservations cool. That was a bad joke. I don't know why I went that route, but you guys get it. Reservation Dogs is a great show. I love that show. Watch Reservation Dogs. Now it's like, what if we made pirates cool and fun? Well, that's what Our Flag Means Death mean. It's just looking at pirates through the lens of What We Do in the Shadows aesthetic. And my goodness, is this interesting? Like, first off, I am hesitant to say it's my favorite of his works. And I say his works loosely because obviously there's an incredible amount of creative talents to go behind the scenes, but he's the name that gets these made. So when you look at everything Taika's worked on and like produced, I don't think Our Flag Means Death is my favorite. It's probably on the lower end of the spectrum just because everything he does is so incredibly vibrant and cool. But this world is very fascinating to me, and I just enjoy looking at it. First off, it's such an interesting approach to pirates. It's not trying to be realistic or, savage like Black Sails was. It's just like, these are weird outsider people, so we're going to have them behave and act like outsider people. And that, to me, is the smartest choice that this show made, was let's get actual character actors to play characters. We're not trying to be subtle or just nuanced about it. They're just plain weird people. This shows a who's who of character actors. You'll recognize them instantly. You'll be like, oh, this is the guy from that show. This is the person from this. And it's fantastic. That's exactly what I want to see from a show like this. You get talented people who are funny and committed to the bit to do something like that. It works perfectly. And everyone has a great moment. Every character has a great just role to play in the story. It's super cool and super fun. I do like that. This show is led by Rhys Darby, and I'm not too familiar with his previous works. I know he's a comedian. I've seen some of his stuff floating around on social medias before. He does incredible as Steed in this. Steed is probably, I think, one of the most interesting characters in this story just because it's so against the type of what you would do with a pirate story. He's not like badass or tough or swashbuckling. He is a pretty boy who likes things fancy and clean. But he's always ventured and dreamed about the life of being a pirate, so he leaves his family and he goes to do that because that's what he wants to do. He's having a midlife crisis. And that's the other thing I really like about this story. This entire first arc plays out so much like it's a romance story between him and Blackbeard. He leaves his ex who's kind of controlling him and manipulating him to leave him here. He meets this cool fresh-faced guy who's just so eager and energetic to learn about his life, and he's like, I want to learn about your life. And these two, they just come together to bond, maybe we can be together and have our kids love us still, and the kids being the pirates aboard the ship. It's such an interesting take on the pirate genre that I just adore it, because that's exactly what this needs. It just needs that breath of fresh air where it's Black Sails was incredible. We have these distinctive, bloody, dark stories about pirates, but what if they're fun? What if they get shipwrecked on an island, What if they get scurvy? What's going to happen there? What if Calico Jack shows up and they have to deal with all that? It's really fun, and it works really well. And the relationship that he builds with Blackbeard in this story, it's really impressive. And this is the part that amazes me. Taika Waititi had time to play Blackbeard for most of the episodes of this show. And it is honestly, this might be I don't know how I should say this. This might be Taika Waititi's most interesting performance to date. He is a fantastic physical comedian, one of the best out there. His physicality playing Blackbeard is so good because he can switch to angry so fast, broken and saddened in any moment, and just egotistical in the next. It's incredible. Just seeing the way his body changes and the way his facial structure changes, even hiding behind that big bushy beard. It's really incredible to see the way he can handle himself and present himself as this pirate king. It is super cool, and it's his best performance, and he just looks badass doing it. It's super impressive. This is a Blackbeard on the verge of irrelevancy, where he's kind of having his own midlife crisis like Steed was, where he's I want to change the way about me and be viewed as a certain way now. I want people to see me as this thing, and that's what I want to be. And that's so cool, because that's not something you'd expect from a show like this, and it only works in the comedy trope. And that's what this needs. Now, I will say, I think before Blackbeard shows up, the show kind of lacks that oomph, where not just because Taika's just a talented guy who makes these people look better, it just felt directionless. But once you got the Blackbeard storyline, things started to pick up and do their own thing. I did like that a lot. That's no detriment to any of the other talented people involved in the show. It's just once that happened, things picked up. Because it just went in a great direction. First off, the jokes are really great too. They're actually funny, they are creative, they work for the time period, they feel like that's the kind of joke and reference you'd make in this world. These guys that are the character actors, they know how to just make a line sound funny just by talking certain ways. That's really cool to see. The cinematography is perfect too. It's got a really nice natural lighting to it, which I really appreciate. And you just get like a grand scale of everything. It does look like sets when you're walking through certain alleyways, but that's as par for the course of this kind of stuff. You know, we probably reuse sets we had from other stuff on a beach, just dressed it up a little dirtier. That's cool. And everything about this show, it just found its footing later on, and that's the impressive thing about stories like this. It takes you a minute, but eventually you can get your gripping and do something cool. Because the halfway point of the show, it really switches into like this really cool operatic tone where you just see these two guys desperately wanting to admit that they kind of need each other to be relevant, but they don't want to admit that to each other because that's not what a pirate does. It's very fascinating and makes for a great comedy. Is it the best work of this type of parody? I don't think so. It does great jokes. It's got solid actors in it. Sometimes you just feel the weight of things. You're like, oh, this could have been maybe 8 episodes and we could do a tighter script. Or, you know, maybe we don't need this many characters in here to make this thing work. But it takes chances other shows like this wouldn't. There's a lot of I don't know how to say this. I'm going to put it like this. There's a lot of just like homosexuality presented in a positive way as opposed to how it would be in a different part of a story like this. If this was a different show, the jokes wouldn't be as prominent, or they might be too prominent in towards like the thing of just like making fun of gay pirates, but this does it in a really subtle way where it's not making fun, it's just supporting and presenting the idea in a positive light, and that's kind of cool. I don't think anybody would be expecting that, so I gotta commend Our Flag Means Death for doing something that cool. It's kind of fun. I did like that, and everything about the show, it just hit all the right beats to make me go, yeah, this is actually kind of smart. It's subtle, it's brilliant, it's doing everything the right way. So props to that for actually trying to do something original and creative with the pirate genre that is so cliched and dried out, and making a Blackbeard that's one of the best portrayals we've ever seen on screen. That's super impressive for a satirical comedy. So, Our Flag Means Death, Season 1, because I hope we get more seasons of this show, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. As always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.